Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. Today I'm super excited to bring you along for another, and I've done this before, but it's another apple pie filling video. And I'm using this complete book of home preserving by Ball. These are all approved recipes in here. This is on page 170. And some of these are store-bought Granny Smith, but then down the road, there's a farm that when they drop pears or they pick all their pears, they put them out by the road. They pick the apples, they put them out by the road. There were 2 boxes there, small boxes, and I thought, I'm gonna make apple pie filling because I've already got the start of it. And these are Granny Smith as well. So these are just homegrown, no chemicals, no nothing, no sprays, nothing. And I was going to do canned apples, just canned apples, and then I could thicken it and have more options when I opened the jar. But I did a test of 1 jar using a Tatler lid, so I wasn't wasting a lid. They smell wonderful, but literally it came out almost like apple sauce. It asks you to blanch it for 3 minutes, which I did, and then get it in the jar. And, put your simple syrup. I guess I don't need a bite that big. I already tasted these because I was like, I'm going to test this first and see if I want to do it. They're wonderful. I'm thinking I'm going to make some apple cookies, and I'm just going to use this. It tastes wonderful, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted a little bit of texture left. And I've done apple pie filling several times over the years, and they always have really good texture. So first thing we're going to do is acidify some water so our apples can be in that solution. And it needs a half gallon of water. You need 3 tablespoons of fruit fresh. 1, 2. I love this stuff. This is from fruit preservatives from Preserver from Mrs. Wages. I ordered it on Amazon. We do have a store here that we can go get it. But sometimes they're out, so I just don't take any chances. I don't want to run out. I do enough preserving. I always have 2 or 3 of these, down in the basement in the food storage for backup. And then just give it a good stir. It's going to change the color of your water a little bit, but it's not anything to be concerned with. It keeps the color of the apples. And I'm going to be doing a prep-a-day candidate. This is a big project and kind of a fire drill once you get started. So you definitely want to be ready. And today it's already, after 1 o'clock. So I don't know where the day went, but because I've got these backed up, and I will go ahead and put that on my order so I know I have plenty to get through the rest of the season. We still will have a few things coming up this season. There's later apples in the season, and okay, yay! And I'm going to do my apples a little bit different this time, only because I think it makes more sense. When I want to use apples for, let's say, a hand pie, when I open a jar, big slices of the apples are going to be harder for me to use in a hand pie. You might get 2 or 3 slices. If you chop them up, if they are in, bite-sized chunks, you're going to get further with your apples. So all I'm going to do is start peeling, and I'm going to be ever so diligent about what I do with the peels. They are going to go out into the compost pile because, well, we've got a good one started now for next year. It's full of fresh chicken manure that will break down over the year. It's grass clippings and all the fruit and veg that, scraps. And quite honestly, if the deer come help themselves to that, I don't even mind. But let me get this going, and I'll give you the first view. Actually, let me bring you in close. So you don't have to look at me, look at what I'm doing. Okay, so once I get the apple peeled down the way I want, then I'm just going to take my knife and cheek it. You're going alongside the core, basically, and if you get a piece of the core, then you've got to trim that out of there. So this is going into the compost. I got a little piece of skin there. That can go. And this one has a piece of core in here that I can see. I can see that right there. I don't want that in there. So I just snip that right out. And each slice is probably going to be about 3 bites, just like that. And that's what we're going to put in our acidulated water. So that's what I'll be doing until I get worked through these apples. I'm going to need, for the recipe, it calls for 12 cups, but that only does 6 or 7 pints. I need 7 quarts. So I've got to double this, which is just fine. And I honestly don't mind this kind of work at all. I actually kind of like it. It's therapeutic for me to chop and take care of produce, especially, this is a huge blessing to get free apples, and the apples that I bought were on sale. So this time of year, you're going to get apples coming on sale and other things too. So keep an eye out for that sort of stuff. Anyway, I am ready to get these. And this is what I'll be doing for the next couple of hours, I'm sure. So we'll get this all ready, and then I'll bring you back when I work through as many apples as I can. So here I'm just peeling apples and cutting away any blemishes that might be on the apples. Most of these are from a neighbor's tree, and so you're going to get some blemishing, and I show you here in a second what I'm talking about. You just cut those little dried kind of pieces out of there and get these sliced up. It's really kind of a therapeutic process, actually. I enjoy this very, very much. And again, that's going into some acidulated water. So we'll just keep on keeping on until we get it done. Okay, so we are ready to start our canning process. And so these sat in the fridge overnight, and I had it in the fruit fresh or the fruit preserver, right? The first 2 that I filled, they did fine. The second one from the brand new preserver, look what happened. So we've got, and I did 3 tablespoons to a half gallon of water, just like I did the other ones. So we have some browning. It is not going to hurt that apple. So they're going to go in a brown liquid anyway, so with the cinnamon and the allspice. So now I'm going to get focused here, and I've got my recipe open. Exactly what I need to do. I'm heating up water right now. I need to get it boiling. And 6 cups at a time will be boiling for 1 minute. So I'll probably have 3 or 4 rounds. But before I start that, I want to get my my actual sugar, clear gel, and this is a brand new bag of clear gel. So cook type. So you cook it. I just got this because the last clear gel I had separated after a very short period of time on the pantry shelf. And yes, I can still use it, but that's very disappointing. You put these beautiful jars on the shelf, and then you go back down, 6 months later, and you go, well, that's not what I canned originally. Anyway, and if it wasn't me going in there to get the things, it could, somebody could say, I'm not eating that because it doesn't look right, even though it's totally safe. And you can use it. You can make pie with it. Okay, remember, We'll be using 4 jars lids today. I've got a link down below, so go check it out. You can get the coupon code, get 10% off your complete order. So I'm doubling the recipe in the ball book, complete book of preserving. On page 170, it only has you canning 7 little pints. Well, I need 7 quarts, so I'm doubling it. I needed 24 cups of apples. Hopefully I've got 24 cups. And 2 3/4 cup of sugar. So 5 1/2 cups of sugar, a cup and a half of clear gel, and I'm gonna get this in my pot because I've got to get that mixed up and ready to go on the stove, right? Ooh, I've got to get my apple cider. I forgot. Okay, 5 1/2 cups of that, and we need clear gel. We need a cup and a half. Woohoo! Cup and a half of clear gel, and you want to mix these two together because why? Well, because this stuff is it's a modified food starch, okay, that you can can with. It's safe for canning. It's totally, the canning police will not come after you if you use clear gel. But it acts like cornstarch. If you can make a mess, it's with cornstarch, right? Well, same with this. Okay, I need cup and a half. I'm going to rinse this off because I'm going to be using it again. I don't want to mess. So, okay, now I need a half of a cup of the clear gel in here. Oh, and I tapped it right back out. And there you go, the classic mess. Okay, a cup and a half. Oh, my goodness. And my water looks like it's boiling. I'm excited. This is kind of a fire drill. You've got to have your ducks in a row. Your quackers need to be talking. So it's going to have you combine the clear gel and sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, water, and apple juice. So as far as apple juice, I'm going to use apple cider, 2 1/2 cups. So I need 5 cups of apple cider and 2 1/2 cups of water. So I'm going to get that ready. 2 1/2 cups of water, and oh, we might have to turn this measuring cup around. It's not a lefty, which is, whoops, nope, that's not it either. 2 1/2 cups, where are you? 2, and yeah, I've got 2 1/2. I believe that's 2 1/2. Yep, that's 2 1/2 cups. And then I need the 5 cups of apple cider. So I'm gonna go get that. My water's boiling. It's ready to start blanching. So you need to blanch those apples for 1 minute each batch, 1 minute, and then set them aside in a bowl. So let's get doing that, and then we'll get the rest of this together. I did want to point out, so I'm putting in the apples that were more browned than the ones that stayed real light. See the difference? But they're lightening right back up in the water, so they're going to be fine. Nobody's ever going to know. Look at that. They're already beautiful. They get real nice and bright again. So don't be afraid. I was very disappointed when I first saw it, but then I was like, okay, they're gonna go back to the pretty color they were. Okay, I gotta start another timer here in a second and get her done. Okay, so you do want to be right here as the pot heats up, and I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. The cardamom adds a little floral hint. I put it in my apple pies. It's kind of my signature apple pie, but I would probably put in a pie 1/4 teaspoon. So that teaspoon in here is not going to make a huge difference. Once we taste it, if I feel like we need more, because the canning process sometimes can make certain spices stronger. I've never had that happen when I use it in apple pie filling, but I feel like it just ends up the perfect amount using 1/2 teaspoon. So there's that. I got a piece of cinnamon clumped up, I think, or apple pie spice here. It's gonna drive me crazy. Where are you? There we go. I'm gonna get you smooshed. Sorry. And come on, burner. Oh, I can't wait till I have my gas stove back hooked up. So just a little recap. We're doing a kitchen remodel. So we are almost ready to rip out these cabinets and countertops and move forward. We've got sheetrock to get done where we tore out walls. On the other side of me is where you see me in the kitchen is we're down to bare studs and yeah, no sheetrock, bare studs, and open concept. So it's going to be so nice. Anyway, but it's been a long process. It's about a year to do a full house remodel, at least if you're doing it on the weekends and doing a lot of the work yourself. We'll hire the drywall out though. So, all right, I'm just going to keep stirring because once it starts gelling, it goes really fast, and you don't want to screw this up. It looks like caramel, doesn't it? But it will clear up. Right now it's cloudy. It will clear up just like when you mix up a cornstarch slurry. It's cloudy and milky. As soon as you put it in your sauce, and it boils, it clears up. So that's going to happen. This will get transparent. Alrighty, I'll be back when we're putting the apples in. Okay, so as it gets closer to boiling, you're going to see this happening. This is totally normal. You want to do this in a heavy bottom pot, though. This is a nice heavy Cuisinart stock pot. This is a 12 quart. It's probably a little overkill, but the next size down that I have is a 5 that I blanched the apples in, and that's too little. Okay, so we're going to turn the burner down because it'll get too hot, and it's getting ready to come up to a boil. And you can feel it get thicker and thicker and thicker, so it's really doing a nice job here. Thick and bubbly is what we want. Okay, thick and bubbly. I see thick and I see bubbles. Now I'm going to add my lemon juice in because we are thick and bubbly. I've got my cup of lemon juice. Is that a full cup? It's not a full cup. Okay, we're going to get it in there though. And I will go get the other little tablespoon, maybe that it's missing. Okay guys, I am finally, I think we're ready to jar it up. I feel like it's been a race to the end. And I get to use my 4 jars funnel, which on this side will show you. Now, the headspace is super important, and so is the blanching. The reason you blanch those apples is to get the air out because they will expand, and it will give, it says an inch of headspace. I always leave a little bit more. I'm not a fan of getting it to siphon. So you want the apples that blanching is very important, and keep them hot because that continues to help, but they're not mushy. They're like what you would have in apple pie right now. Oof, and apple pie gets cooked. Okay, so I want an inch and a quarter of headspace. And I use 2 quart jars when I do, we'll do a couple more, when I do apple pies. Okay, so we can debubble all you want, but it's not, I could still put a little bit more in here. Okay. Now, I do have a little bit of vinegar, white vinegar right here. White vinegar soaked because there's sugar involved and it gets sticky. Although I've never had, that I can recall, a fail of a pie filling. I got my lids have been soaking in hot water per 4 jars instructions. And on there it goes. Grab a lid. I'm super excited. Are you guys excited for pie filling? have pie filling on the shelf. And then fingertip tight, to me, that's fingertip tight. Okay, we're gonna put this in the canner. Ooh, hot. Put that in the canner, and it's going to, once we get to that point, it is going to a water bath or steam can for 25 minutes. And let's make sure. Okay. If necessary, add, okay, wipe the rim, center the law. Yeah, it says for 25 minutes. So we are 25 minutes. And we'll trade jars. There we go. And we're going to rinse and repeat until all of our jars are full. Uh-oh, I got to get there we go. I like having the bowl underneath. It catches a lot of the stuff that I may not catch otherwise. So, hot jars, hot food, hot canner, everything's hot and ready to go, right? And I need to rinse my hand, and there we go. My canner's over there, just bubbling away. Air pockets will also cause siphoning, so if you see any big air bubbles, fix them. Now's the time to fix it. So this one looks perfect. We're gonna wipe the rim and get us a nice hot flat. And the water bath canner that I have and the steam canner holds 7 quarts for 1 canner load. So let's get it done. Oh, that was a fire drill and a half. So I had to go get my second steam canner. Thankfully, I have 2. I bought this one first, and it's aluminum. And then one of my friends talked about how hers pitted through just from minerals and, hard water, pitting a hole in the bottom. And I thought, oh, and she had bought a stainless one. So I purchased this stainless one. So that's on its timer. This is now on its timer. So I got 7 quarts over here and 2 1.5 pint jars, or 24 ounces, and 1 pint jar. They all have to go for the same amount of time. So 25 minutes for all of them, doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm super excited to have extra. And the 1.5 pint jars are perfect for hand pies or individual little pies, mini pies, if you want it big and lofty. And the pint jar is definitely good for little hand pies. So I wanted to let you know, and I've got Siri has 2 timers on there, so I'm good to go. I double check that they're running, and I double check time, so I know that if something happens, I still know what time these will be done. So as soon as they're done and we're pulling them out of the canner, I'm going to bring you back, and we're going to have lots of delicious apple pie filling for the shelf. And this was all inspired because I wanted to can apples. I wanted to preserve apples. I got a bunch of apples for free. I bought apples that were on sale, and I wanted to preserve them. I'd already done our apples in juice because when you bit into it, it tasted like the most fresh juice you've ever had. And I could have used that instead of the apple cider because I didn't add any sweetener to that. So you want unsweetened cider or unsweetened apple juice. Okay, all right. I can't wait. And the gel, divine. It's gonna be so good. And you just have the hint of the cardamom in the background. So don't be scared of that. It's a delicious spice. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so now we are ready. But I had 2 timers going at the same time, and this one, of course, went down first, and I moved it after about 5 minutes. Just know that when you make pie filling, typically it swells. That's why I do 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches of headspace. I kind of wish I would have done 1.5 inches. Make sure that you blanch your apples or you'll have even more siphoning. But you're gonna have some siphonings. I have never had a jar not seal out of all the years I've done pie filling. And you look at it and go, oh no, it's not gonna seal, but they do. So don't panic until it's over. And now, woo-hoo, and I have some siphoning. I see some siphoning on top and some on the sides. It's okay. So this is what I'm talking about. See how it swells all the way up. And there's a little bit of gel there. And over here, one of the jars had, and it ran down the side. One of the jars has it coming out the top, which I don't know that I've seen that before. And the sides, I've got gel coming out everywhere, but I'm not going to panic. Like I said, these lids already look like they sealed, honestly. Don't tip your jars. Just get these out, let that water evaporate on its own, and you're going to be a scrub-dub-dubbing to get these all clean and get the sticky off, but it's so worth it. Now this one has some apple parts too, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to panic. Panic's not my game today. We're going to put these out here, and I mean, they've had plenty of time to cool, and look how beautiful. These did not, oh, that one siphoned. These did not. It doesn't look like, maybe I did. Yeah, a little bit. It did. Okay. We got a little bit of siphoning. These have not sealed yet. I've got a couple. That one's not sealed yet. But these over here, they're all sealed. This one siphoned quite a bit. But what do you do, right? You just have to wait and see what happens. So let these cool down all the way, and I'll give you an end result. And, wow. So good. It's going to be delicious. So, very important to par cook your apples. Very important to deep bubble, deep bubble, deep bubble. And don't panic, don't panic, don't panic until it's over, okay? I'm not going to panic until these cool down all the way. I'm just not going to, because in the past I have, and I thought there is no way they're going to seal with all that product under the lid. They seal just fine, and you can hardly pry them off a year later. So, okay. I'll be back when they're all sealed. Okay guys, so this is the end. It's been about a half hour and all of the jars have sealed. All the button tops are done. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna bring you back for cleanup. This is part of the canning process. Cleanup and getting your stuff all put away, all the things that you had to have out and all the things that you have to put back. And then get ready for the next canning project, which is a pressure canning project. Woo! I hope you stay tuned. I'm going to be pressure canning beets. So if you watch till the end, you can just leave me a comment and say beets, please. And that will make me super happy that you watched till the end. Anyways, if you're not a subscriber, I do hope that you subscribe to my channel. I do lots of canning. I have playlists that are full of hundreds of videos of canning. And so this, I will not have to do apple pie filling for another year. Typically, it takes for a deep dish pie, 2 quarts of pie filling. It's very rare. We have to have the family over for me to do a deep dish. So maybe Thanksgiving and Christmas or Easter. Okay, so that takes care of 6 of them. And then throughout the year, I might make some hand pies or the little mini pies that I have. I have little mini pie plates that are enough for 2, and it's perfect, and I don't have to worry about wasting pie because I won't throw pie away. I will turn it into something else. So Especially, you know, I make homemade pie crust, and I've got that video coming too. I've got to get that out for you. But I do want to go over how I clean up the jars, because a lot of people don't realize you have to get all that goo off the rims, and, or, you know, off the rings that are on the outside. All these rings themselves have to be cleaned. I'm going to do a whole nother video and bring you along for that, and that will assure that all these jars have sealed correctly, because the button tops are all down, but you never know what could happen. So I'll see you tomorrow for that video, and like I said, if you stayed till the end, say beets please, and or let me know how your apple pie filling comes out. I was talking to some friends, and I used 4 jars lids, so they agreed with me. It's a little bit of a fire drill to get this done, and so that's why I prep a day, can a day, and I don't put too much pressure on myself anymore. I used to do it all in one day, but I don't have to do that anymore. I still have to maintain and cook dinner and do all those things, so I don't want to be stressed out over canning. This is my fun thing that I do, and I enjoy stocking my pantry with all the items that we love to eat all year round. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you next time. I can't wait to see the comments, and if you've got a different recipe for apple pie filling, or you've got a different secret ingredient, I do have one that I do, and I just couldn't find my vanilla beans, but vanilla bean in apple pie filling is phenomenal. So just so you know, maybe when I open one of these jars, I'll be able to scrape some vanilla beans in there, some seeds in there, and yeah, it's good. Anyway, all right, I'll see you next time. What would you make with that pie filling other than pie? Let me know in the comments below. All right, don't forget to subscribe. I do hope if you like this sort of thing, you'll subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment.